So I thought I would share a little bit about how I built my homemade 400 plus Game Elf game arcade console. It took me one afternoon and I only spent about $65. Like I explained in a number of my other videos, you can find these deals if you know where to look and think outside of the box. Here's my parts list with pricing. So my homemade arcade console Game Elf system was $1 at Bin City. The JAMA cable was $11 on Amazon. I had to buy that and pay kind of full price. Joystick buttons, $1 for the whole set at Bin City. The trackball, $1 at Bin City. The Pac-Man light, got it for $6 at Ross's. The monitor stand, $1 Bin City. Speaker bar, $5 at Goodwill. And the monitor was $15 at Goodwill. And the console stand itself, I paid $15 at Habitat Restore. So around $65, that's including tax. You can see here on Amazon, just these 4 parts would have cost over $242, not including the other 6 items and tax. It would have been more like $400 to $500 if I had to purchase all these items. So why did I build this console? Well, I first found the Game Elf at Bin City, my local Amazon clearance store. Watch my other video, Find Great Tech Cheap, to learn more about bin stores and other great places to find cheap tech items. I purchased this item not even knowing what it was, and then started messing with it and figuring out how it worked with some testing. So then, as I found parts, I just put them in one spot until I had what I thought was enough parts to build something. Then I started to think about converting one of my 1UP arcade consoles to be this system. There are YouTube videos on how to do this, but I like my arcade consoles and didn't want to lose one of them. I then started to think outside of the box. I had a computer stand and thought about using it when I remembered this computer stand at the local Habitat Restore. I dropped in again to see if it was still there, and it was. Better yet, it was on sale for only $15. So I brought it home. It worked out so well because it has hydraulic lift, so the height is adjustable along with other adjustments, which is just awesome. Next, I figured out where the braces were under the tabletop so I could figure out where I could place and configure the buttons and joysticks in a layout that would work best. I had a drill bit set used for installing doorknobs and locks that was just the right size to drill all the holes. I found this to be the most comfortable layout for one to 2 players, and each side has a player and a coin button. Now, as far as the wiring goes, it's not as complicated as you might think. The JAMA cable connects to the Game Elf system here and comes labeled, so you know what each wire is for. You just match them up and connect them. Just remember, you don't need every wire connected, and you have a lot of options. Like if you're going to use a computer power plug to power the system, you don't need to connect the power wires, etc. Just connect the ones you need for the joysticks and buttons and sound, etc. Now, my joystick controllers were made to connect a Raspberry Pi system with a USB, so I didn't use the control boards with the USB. I just connected them by cutting off one end of the connectors and wires and just matched those wires to the joystick. It was obvious that the ground was ground and the AL was the left and the AR was the right and the AD was the down and the AU was the up. I put these ends on them so they could be connected and disconnected and moved around. It worked like a charm. Then I connected the buttons. The buttons all have 2 sets of connectors, one for the switch part and one for the lighting. One side is ground and the other side is power. I've not connected the lights yet, just the switch for now. After all the buttons and joysticks were connected, you can go to the Game Elf and configure and test everything to see that everything is working on the test page. After I connected all the wires for the JAMA cable that I needed, I just bunched up all the wires and ran them under the table to the back and connected the JAMA to the Game Elf. The cool thing about this configuration is if I ever want to upgrade the system to a 700 game system or other JAMA board, I just unplug the JAMA cable and plug it onto the new one, and it's that easy. I tried a number of different monitors to see what would work best. I wanted a big screen, and I found this Game Elf system has a VGA port and it works best with a monitor that's only 19 inches diagonal. This displays the most games in the correct format and looks the best. The other thing that worked great by using the Dell monitor was because the soundbar connects to the screen, and gets its power from the monitor without another adapter. It just connects right to the side and can be turned in the right orientation and works great. Also, connecting the monitor to the stand with a monitor arm mount keeps everything nice and connected. The computer stand has wheels that lock, but it can be rolled to another room. I plugged everything into a 4-port extension cord that has a power switch and USB ports, so one switch turns everything on and off. The Pac-Man light just adds that nice touch and plugs into one of those USB ports. To be honest, I like all of my arcade cabinets, but this one has so many fun games that I find myself playing it the most. I thought it would just be good to share some of these ideas if you're wanting a fun arcade console without spending a lot of time and money to build your own. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and give a thumbs up. This is what promotes our content and keeps us growing. Hey, I'm Joe, and this is Good to Know.